Imagine stepping on a pedal and suddenly your guitar isn't just a guitar anymore. It's a full pipe organ, maybe, filling the room with these rich, swirling harmonies.
Yeah, or like a shimmering 12-string adding all that sparkle and depth.
Exactly. Or maybe it's even transforming into a thunderous bass and a driving rhythm guitar, all blended together just from your one instrument.
Sounds like some kind of studio trick, right?
Totally.
Hmm.
But for musicians, this wasn't magic. It was nothing short of a revolution in sound.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the deep dive, where we plunge headfirst into fascinating topics and really try to pull out those crucial nuggets of insight for you.
That's the plan.
Today, we're exploring a truly transformative piece of musical hardware, the Electro Harmonix POG. That's the polyphonic octave generator.
And our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack how this single pedal family didn't just add another effect, but it fundamentally redefined what an octave pedal could even be. We're going to peel back the layers on its groundbreaking technology, explore its incredibly versatile features, trace how it evolved through all the different versions, and uncover the surprising, often kind of mind-bending ways musicians have harnessed its power to sculpt entirely new, unmistakable sounds.
Okay.
Our goal really is to give you that shortcut, to being truly well-informed about this iconic, really paradigm-shifting piece of gear.
So to really appreciate the POG's huge arrival, we first need to kind of cast our minds back, right? Back to the musical landscape it entered.
Yeah, what was out there before?
Exactly. What were octave pedals like before this digital marvel burst onto the scene? What were the limitations musicians were constantly bumping up against?
Well, before the POG, the world of octave effects was, let's just say, a bit more temperamental. A little tricky.
Okay.
You had some classic pedals, no doubt, like the Electro Harmonix octave multiplexer from way back in the 70s, or the Boss OC2, which everyone seemed to have in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, the OC2. Classic.
Totally.
Yeah.
And they were incredible for their time, but they shared this fundamental limitation. They were almost exclusively monophonic.
Monophonic. Okay, what does that mean in practice?
What that means is they could only cleanly track one single note at a time. If you played a solo line, yeah, they could usually add a sub-octave, thicken it up, give you that sort of bassing guitar in one feel.
Right, for single note riffs.
Exactly. But the moment you tried to play a chord, anything more complex than just one note, things would often just fall apart.
How so?
You get this messy, warbling, glitchy sound. Sometimes really unpredictable, or sometimes the pedal would just kind of give up and not track anything at all. It was frustrating.
Wow.
It was like trying to have a complex conversation with someone who could only process one word at a time. It might work for a simple statement, but anything nuanced would just dissolve into static.
So, if you were a guitarist wanting to fill out your sound with rich harmonies, or, I don't know, a bassist looking to add some layered complexity, these pedals were actually more of a creative roadblock than a highway.
Pretty much.
You were always walking on eggshells trying to play around the pedal's limitations. That sounds incredibly frustrating for any creative musician.
Exactly right. It forced musicians to adapt their playing style to the pedal, rather than the pedal adapting to their musical ideas,
Yeah.
It was a tool that offered this tantalizing glimpse of a bigger sound, but it came with these significant caveats that really limited its true expressive potential, especially for anyone who loved playing chords.
Okay, so let's unpack this game-changing moment then. The POG, when it finally arrived in the early 2000s, it just shattered those limitations.
Completely.
So what was the core technological leap? What was the secret sauce, if you will, that allowed it to suddenly handle complex chords with such grace, where everything before it just stumbled and stuttered?
The POG's genius, really, was its deliberate design as a polyphonic octave generator right from the very start. That's the absolute critical distinction.
Polyphonic, okay.
Polyphonic means it could generate octaves accurately on entire chords, processing multiple notes simultaneously and cleanly, as well as individual notes.
Yeah.
This wasn't just like a minor improvement.
Oh, yeah.
It was a fundamental paradigm shift. And this incredible accuracy, this tracking speed, it was all made possible by the intelligent application of digital processing, specifically DSP, digital signal processing.
Oh, DS. Okay.
Think of it maybe like this. Older analog octave dividers, They relied on these complex analog circuits to try and detect the pitch, right?
Yeah.
Which essentially involved trying to copy and then divide a single waveform.
Okay, like physically dividing it.
Sort of, yeah. But
Mhm.
when you introduce multiple overlapping waveforms, like you get in a chord,
Yeah.
those analog circuits would just get completely confused, overloaded.
Yeah.
That's where you got that notorious glitching.
Ah,
DSP, on the other hand, uses these powerful algorithms to analyze the incoming audio signal. It digitally identifies and separates each individual pitch within a chord almost instantaneously.
wow.
And once it's isolated those pitches, it can then precisely generate new, clean octave voices for each one, and then perfectly resynthesize them back into a cohesive, rich output.
So it's like analyzing the whole picture at once.
Exactly. It's like going from trying to physically catch individual fish in a tiny net to using, I don't know, sonar to identify and replicate every single fish in a whole school all at the same time.
That's a great analogy.
The clarity and speed were just, well, they were simply impossible for the old analog circuits to match.
So it wasn't just the slightly better version of what came before. It was a completely different beast, born from a totally different technological approach.
Absolutely different DNA.
No more trying to trick the pedal or putting up with those glitchy, warbling chords. You could truly transform your instrument, turn a single guitar into this sprawling soundscape, not just, thickening a single note or creating some wobbly bass line. That must have felt like an absolute revelation for musicians who'd been grappling with those older pedals for years.
Oh, absolutely it was.
Yeah.
It empowered musicians to think far beyond what they previously imagined an octave pedal could even do. The instrument itself suddenly gained this new voice, a whole new dimension.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The POG wasn't just about adding a simple octave up or down. You mentioned Electro Harmonix conceived it as something much grander, a true harmonic generator.
That's right.
What was its core mission beyond just basic pitch shifting, and what innovative features did it offer right out of the gate to achieve this, this ambitious goal?
Yeah, indeed, the POG's core mission was definitely to transcend that traditional octave effect idea. It was designed as a tool for creating entirely new harmonic textures around your original sound.
Okay.
It wasn't just mirroring your note, it was building a whole new sonic architecture. And to do that, it brought some really powerful features to the table.
Like what?
Well, first, as we've kind of hammered home, was its polyphonic tracking. That meant it could cleanly process entire chords, complex arpeggios, single notes, no dreaded glitching. That alone was revolutionary.
Huge.
But just the starting point. Second, it offered multiple octaves. Unlike older pedals that might only give you, say, a sub-octave, the POG could generate voices both above and below the note you played.
Ah, both directions.
Both directions.
Yeah.
Which immediately opened up this vastly wider sonic palette. You could dial in a note 1 octave down, sometimes 2 octaves down on later models,
Yeah.
and then 1 or maybe even 2 octaves above your original dry signal.
Wow, okay.
But the real magic, I think, for creative sound sculpting lay in its third key feature,
Mm-hmm.
the mixing sliders. These were absolutely crucial.
The sliders on the original big box one, right?
Yeah, exactly. The original POG had these dedicated sliders that let you independently blend your original dry signal with each of the generated octave up and octave down voices.
So not just on or off.
No, it wasn't just an on-off switch. It was this continuous spectrum of control. You could dial in just a tiny hint of an upper octave for some sparkle, or you could crank the sub-octaves way up to create this massive synth-like pad, all while keeping your original guitar signal right there as the anchor. This level of granular control was absolutely key for customization. It let you dial in everything from subtle enhancement to really extreme sonic transformations.
So by combining these features, the precise polyphonic tracking, the multiple octave voices, and that really customizable mixing, the POG, basically transformed from a simple effect into a legitimate instrument shaping tool.
That's a great way to put it.
It sounds like you could almost create the illusion of a completely different instrument playing right alongside you.
Precisely, yeah. When these multiple octave voices were stacked and blended carefully, they could convincingly mimic the rich, resonant sound of a full pipe organ.
Right, the organ thing.
Or give your guitar that shimmering, almost choral quality of a 12-string. It allowed a single guitarist to create the sonic presence of, like, an entire ensemble, essentially becoming a one-person orchestra in some way.
That's powerful.
It wasn't just about making your guitar louder, it was about making it bigger and richer in a way that simply wasn't possible before.
And how did all this groundbreaking tech and these incredible mixing options actually translate into its distinct sound? Was it just louder, or was there like a fundamental difference in how it felt to play and how it resonated?
Well, thanks to that sophisticated digital processing we talked about, the POG delivered these crystal clear, incredibly articulate octave voices.
Ah,
There was this unprecedented purity and definition to them,
hmm,
without the weird artifacts you sometimes got.
clean.
Very clean. You could go from really subtle reinforcement, just subtly enriching your tone for that beautiful 12-string share, to these absolutely huge, immersive, and truly organ-like textures that just had real weight and presence.
Mm-hmm.
And what truly set it apart, and what musicians, I think, instantly gravitated towards, was its stability and smoothness. It completely lacked that infamous glitchiness that the analog octave dividers were kind of notorious for.
Right. The unpredictability was gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This gave players a much more predictable, reliable, and honestly inspiring sonic foundation to build upon. It meant you could focus on your music, not on battling your pedal.
Makes sense.
It didn't just sound good, it felt good and intuitive to play through.
That stability must have really opened up new doors for musicians, giving them this trustworthy tool they could truly integrate into their playing style.
For sure.
And clearly, Electro Harmonix didn't just stop there. The original POG was obviously a hit, but they've continually innovated, right? Creating this whole POG family over the years. What does that family look like? How did it evolve to meet different musicians' needs?
Yeah, it's a really fascinating lineage, actually. It demonstrates this clear progression in terms of both raw power and, maybe just as importantly, practical usability.
Okay.
The family began, of course, with the original POG, introduced around 2001.
Yeah.
This was the big box version, a robust, pretty substantial enclosure.
Took up some space.
It did, but it offered full polyphony with those multiple sliders for dry, sub-octaves, higher octaves. It was incredibly praised for its groundbreaking sound and versatility, but yeah, its sheer size made it a bit of a commitment for many pedal boards. Great in the studio, maybe less friendly for a crowded stage.
Right.
Then came this huge leap, really, for practicality and accessibility. The Micro POG in 2005.
Ah, the little red one.
That's the one. This was clearly a response to the demand for a smaller footprint. This version simplified the controls, moving from all those sliders to just 3 intuitive knobs: dry, sub-octave, and octave up.
Much simpler.
Much simpler. And crucially, it came in that compact enclosure, which totally changed its appeal. Its smaller size, plus its ease of use, made that incredible POG sound accessible to a much wider group of players who needed polyphonic octaves but didn't want to sacrifice half their pedal board.
Yeah, it kind of democratized the POG sound, didn't it?
That's a perfect word for it. It made it a true staple. Then, following that, in 2009, Electro Harmonix introduced the POG2.
Okay, the sequel.
The sequel, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is widely regarded as the flagship version now. It built on the original's legacy, but with even more sonic horsepower.
More features.
Oh yeah. It expanded on the original by offering even more voices, typically 2 sub-octaves and 2 octave ups, plus additional incredibly useful controls like a detune function.
What does detune do?
Detune adds this subtle, beautiful, chorus-like wobble. It just makes the textures even richer, more dimensional. And it added a low-pass filter, which lets you roll off the high frequencies. So you can darken or smooth out the tone, make it sound more vintage or more synth-like. And a huge addition: 8 preset storage slots, which made it incredibly versatile for complex live shows where you need instant recall, or for detailed studio work where sonic precision is everything.
Presets are always good.
Always handy. And finally, for those who truly prize every square inch of pedal board real estate, we got the Nano POG in 2015.
Even smaller.
Even smaller. The smallest of the family. Further refining that compact design while keeping the essential dry, sub, and octave up controls. It's perfect for minimal pedal boards or for players who just want that core POG sound in the most unobtrusive package possible.
So wow, whether you needed ultimate granular control for intricate sound design in the studio,
Yeah.
or just compact convenience for a busy gigging board or something in between,
Yeah.
Electro Harmonix really thought of everyone. They created a POG perfectly tailored for almost any musician's specific needs. That's incredibly smart product evolution.
It really highlights a deep understanding of their user base, doesn't it? Recognizing that a groundbreaking technology needs to be adaptable to different workflows, different budgets, to truly become iconic.
Definitely. So, okay, what does all this mean for the creative musicians out there? Beyond the technical specs and the different versions, Who has really embraced the POG to craft their signature sounds and redefine what their instrument can do? This is where the rubber meets the road, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the TOG family has been a vital secret weapon for an incredibly wide variety of artists
Mhm.
across so many genres. It truly showcases its versatility and adaptability.
Give us some examples.
Okay, well, take Jack White of the White Stripes, for instance. He famously used the POG to create those really distinctive, almost eerie, swirling organ-like tones.
Yeah, totally hear that.
It often sounded like this menacing circus calliope or something. On tracks like Blue Orchid, his guitar, going through the POG, takes on this huge, almost synth pad quality that's instantly recognizable.
Hmm.
It allowed him to create the illusion of a much larger, more diverse band sound, which was obviously crucial for the White Stripes' raw duo dynamic.
Those songs just wouldn't be the same without it.
Absolutely.
Who else?
Then you have someone like The Edge from U2, a master of texture and sonic landscaping.
Of course.
He's known for his signature shimmering textures, those doubling effects, and the POG became a key tool for him in adding incredible depth and width to his iconic guitar sounds. He'd often blend subtle upper octaves with his delays and reverbs to create those vast, expansive soundscapes.
That U2 sound.
A huge U2 sound, making his single guitar sound like an entire orchestral section swelling up beneath the melody. It's really integral to their music.
Okay. Different vibe entirely.
Totally different vibe.
I think it's up.
Consider Royal Blood's Mike Kerr. He's a bassist, right?
Right, the duo.
And he uses the POG to create these absolutely massive bass plus guitar hybrid sounds. He splits a signal, sends one path through a POG to generate an upper octave, which then goes into a guitar amp,
Clever.
while his dry bass signal goes to a bass amp. The result is this duo that sounds like a much larger, instrumentally dense rock band. It completely blurs the lines between bass and guitar rolls.
That's a brilliant use case.
Yeah, isn't it? It's using the POG to overcome instrumental limitations and just create this huge, unique sonic footprint. Then on the more experimental and ambient side,
Yeah.
you've got Johnny Greenwood of Radiohead. He's known for his innovative and sometimes pretty abstract use of octave layers, really pushing the boundaries of what the pedal could do beyond conventional stuff.
How so?
He might use it to create these discordant, evolving drones, or to add strange ethereal textures that completely transform his guitar into some kind of alien sound source. It shows the POG's potential for really unconventional sound design,
Right, not just pretty sounds.
not just pretty sounds. And even ambient and post-rock bands like Hammock or Explosions in the Sky, they leverage POGs extensively for creating those lush, evolving soundscapes, those expansive layers.
Yeah, you can hear that.
They often stack multiple octaves, maybe subtly detuned with the POG2's features, to build these immense, immersive walls of sound that fill a sonic space with incredible emotional weight and depth, turning simple chords into soaring, symphonic textures.
Wow. What stands out to you about these varied applications? It really hammers home how a single piece of technology put in the hands of different artists can inspire completely different sonic identities, contribute to such diverse musical styles.
Yeah.
It's not just a box that does one thing. It's like a catalyst for entirely new creative possibilities.
What's truly fascinating to me is how these artists didn't just use the POG as like a simple effect you switch on and off. They integrated it into their fundamental compositional strategies, their performance strategies.
Then I write music.
Exactly. Jack White used it to achieve that bigger band sound with just two people. Mike Kerr created an entirely new instrumental approach for a duo. The Edge leveraged it for texture and atmosphere. Johnny Greenwood pushed it into experimental territory.
Right.
It wasn't just about adding an octave. It was about reimagining the very role of their instrument within their music.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture then, the POG didn't just add a new pedal to an already crowded market, it fundamentally redefined an entire category of effects. Before, an octave pedal was often seen mainly as a utility, right?
Yeah.
A sub-octave bass thickener or maybe a subtle single-note harmonizer.
Not kind of functional.
The POG elevated it to something far more powerful, a full polyphonic instrument emulator, a tool capable of transforming a single guitar into a much larger, more harmonically rich ensemble.
Couldn't have said it better. Its ability to convincingly emulate the resonance of pipe organs, create that unmistakable 12-string sparkle, or build those massive bass and guitar hybrid sounds. It just made it an indispensable staple across genres. You find it everywhere: gritty indie rock, expansive worship music soundscapes, all the way to experimental electronic sound design. It became this ubiquitous presence, which really proves how vital its capabilities were.
And the brilliance of the micro POG and the nano POG really can't be overstated here, can it? They didn't just shrink the original.
No.
They made that POG sound accessible to countless more guitarists and bassists who needed its power but didn't have the space or maybe the budget for the big original unit. It brought this transformative technology to the masses, basically, putting professional-grade polyphonic octaves within reach for pretty much any pedal board.
Indeed. And even today, the POG2 remains one of Electro Harmonix's most popular high-end pedals. That's a testament to its enduring relevance, you know.
Still selling well.
Still selling well. Its impact really rivals even iconic effects like the Big Muff Fuzz in terms of recognizability and influence on modern music. And this raises an important question for us all, I think. How truly fundamental has sophisticated digital processing become to modern musical expression?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's no longer just about replicating old analog sounds. It's about creating entirely new sonic capabilities that fundamentally shape how we compose, how we perform, how we even perceive instruments. The POG is just such a prime example of that whole evolution.
So from its revolutionary polyphonic tracking that transformed a single instrument into, well, practically an orchestra, to its diverse iterations that cleverly catered to pretty much every musician's need, and its widespread adoption by iconic artists across all sorts of genres, the Electro Harmonix POG family has truly cemented its indelible place in music history.
No doubt.
It didn't just give musicians a new sound, it allowed them to dream bigger with their sound, expanding what a single instrument could achieve on a really profound level.
In the POG's journey, I think it shows us in vivid detail how a focused technological leap, like the intelligent and creative application of digital signal processing, can not only create entirely new, previously unimaginable sounds, but it can also inspire completely new approaches to composition, to arrangement, to live performance. It fundamentally changed how musicians conceived of their instruments and their roles within the music.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What seemingly small, innovative piece of gear or software being developed right now will be the next POG? What's going to completely transform how we think about making music tomorrow? What will you discover next that unlocks new sonic possibilities for your own creativity?